haven't had this many exes show up at once since... I could feel the rest of my hair falling out.
This episode is weird. Well, both of these episodes are weird, but Bluebird is the one I'm honestly not sure how to feel about. I think it's the weakest episode of the 6 so far, and a big issue with it is tone. On paper, I've got no problem with Steven's confrontation with the fusion of Aquamarine and Eyeball being a comedic one. Those are two very comedic characters, but I don't know, I think it diminishes my engagement to have another pink tantrum occur, this time with Greg's life being endangered as the catalyst, and the episode still playing it like I'm not meant to take things all that seriously. I think the story is an interesting use of Aquamarine and Eyeball relative to the sort of antagonist scale this show has. These two provide a unique perspective. They're not evil, necessarily. They're not even necessarily all that bitter about the rise of Error 3, although there is some lip service to being left behind in their villain monologue. They have no baggage relating to Pink Diamond the way that someone like Jasper or Spinell does, and they're not motivated entirely by self-directed insecurity like Lars was in earlier episodes. No, these guys just hate Steven because they fundamentally dislike the kind of person he is. Their relationship is incredibly tenuous because that's the only thing they seem to share, but the fact remains we've never really dealt with a character who just dislikes Steven for himself, and I kind of feel like we still haven't fully explored that. Between last video and now, I've come to accept that in all likelihood, Future may be composed of almost entirely self-contained vignettes, meaning we might never see the Roses or Volleyball or Jasper or now Bluebird ever again after their dedicated episodes. Given that, I'd have liked to dedicate more of this episode to Steven confronting the notion that some people will always hate him just because they hate him. But that idea only rears its head toward the end, and the premise prior to that point just feels too much like stuff the show has done before. I think the much more interesting version of this episode would involve having Bluebird not bother with the pretending to be redeemed ruse, and just come out of the gate swinging. Say the other gems are busy until the climax, so the bulk of the episode gets to be Steven grappling with the aforementioned ideas. Have some more of the comedy derived from the relative incompetence on their attempts at Steven's life, while Steven himself realizes that some people just don't want to be turned, don't want to ever get along with or get to know him properly, and he's just going to have to accept that on some level. As it stands, it's great that the episode finally lends us a look at characters who hold that philosophy and how frankly pathetic they are. I just wish the execution felt tighter. Also, Bluebird is a goober confirmed. A very special episode is insane, and I love it. Very much feels like an excuse to indulge in the characters and quirks of Sunstone and Rainbow 2.0 after those characters' woefully brief introduction and change your mind. I'm not gonna lie, I don't care too much for Rainbow's little Mary Poppins send-up ditty. I dare call it one of the show's weaker songs, though I can accept it as maybe not trying to sound all that great given the nature of the episode as escalating self-parody. Honestly, this is the closest that an episode proper of the show has gotten in that regard to Say Uncle, which is a divisive episode, but one I've always enjoyed for just how over-the-top ridiculous it is. I enjoy a very special episode in much the same way, especially over-the-top to the point of caricature Pearl, and while I think Bluebird suffers by still kinda feeling almost like a self-parody but not committing as hard, at no point does a very special episode try to have what feel like genuine stakes. This one is a complete goofy romp, and better off for it, I think. I love things like this for any show or movie that can use tension to ramp up comedy the same way that other things use it to ramp up drama. By the time that a bunch of gems literally throw themselves off a cliff following a leaf and Steven actually keels over dead due to stress, I feel like I myself might die from laughing. Overall, it appears that this was very much the breather week of Steven Universe Future, which makes me very nervous about what's coming and how much pathos we're going to have to deal with in order to balance this out. But hey, that's enough of me running my mouth. What did you guys think of these episodes? Sound off in the comments and like and subscribe for more coverage of the rest of the season.